All right, everybody, here we go. We're going to take the two-step equations we're going to take it up a notch. All right, so the last worksheet kind of helped get this established, but this has a little bit of some different stuff. All right, so letter R, I've done over in the margin here, but let's just kind of do it here so I can explain it verbally to you. We've got x over 2, or x divided by 2, minus 5 equals 11. And like we said last time, is we want to leave the term with the variable alone for right now and concentrate on the constant. So let's put our line, and I want to think the inverse of subtracting 5, well, that'd be adding 5. Let's do that to both sides. This is gone. So we get x over 2, x divided by 2 is now 16. So I'm thinking same thing, the inverse of division. Well, that's multiplication. This is being divided by 2, so the inverse of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. So if I do it here, I gotta do it here. 2 over 2, that's like 2 over 1, that cancels out. So x equals 32. And in our puzzle up here, there are 3 32s, and I may have missed one. But that's how this works. When you find your answer, this will be the letter that will go up here. All right, I've got 4 more I want to do with you on this. Letter H. Yeah, I'm skipping around. I tend to do that. Negative 6u plus 7 equals a negative 29. This is a lot like worksheet 204. Okay, I'm going to go with the one that is the constant. Do the inverse. So if this is adding 7, I'm going to subtract 7. Do that to both sides. Okay, 7s are gone. And I got negative 6u equals, okay, this is where we got to think they're integers here. These are 29 bad guys, 7 bad guys. They're all bad guys. So our number is going to get bigger. We're really going to add these numbers, but keep the negative sign. So 29 bad guys and 7 more bad guys show up. We're going to have 36 bad guys. All right, so now look, I've got the one term here. I can get rid of the negative 6. Well, somehow I've got to have it become 1u. What can I do to negative 6 to get 1? I can divide it by itself. Keep those negatives because those will cancel out as well. But if I do it here, I got to do it here. So those are gone. I've got 1u. And aha, my negatives are, I got 2 this time. I can cross them out. So 36 divided by 6. Well, we know that is, got it? It's 6. So u equals 6. So right here, u equals 6. And you can go ahead and take some time and find all the 6's up there. There's one of them. There may be more. I'm not sure. Okay, we're going to go for letter C next. 12 minus v over 4 equals 1. Well, again, I'm going to look for that constant first. Even though they switched the order, I'm going to go for the 12. There's no sign in front of it, so we're going to assume it's a positive 12. The opposite of a positive 12 is a negative 12. So that means I'm going to subtract 12 here. So this is gone. So negative v over 4 equals, oh look, this doesn't look like a fair fight. We got 1 good guy, because that's positive, and 12 bad guys. Well, this poor guy, he can only take out one of these, so it's going to leave 11 bad guys. All right, so now we've got v divided by 4. We want a positive v. So I gotta think, what can I do? Well, let's focus on this first. We know this is being divided by 4. So the inverse of division is what? It's multiplication. So I'm going to use the dots for multiplication. And in order to cross out this, I need to multiply it by 4, because that will become 4 over 4. It's like 4 over 1. They'll cancel each other out. But I'm still left with a negative v. All right, well, let's do that. Negative v equals, well, I got a negative times a positive. If I had two negatives, I'd cancel each other out. Negative times a negative is a positive, but we don't have two. We just have one, so we got to keep the negative. And 11 times 4 is 44. All right, there's several ways to do this. We could divide each side by -1, because this is like a -1v. Or you could multiply each side by -1. It's whichever makes more sense to you. I'm going to divide each side by -1 because I know anything over itself is 1. So now that's v, or 1v. And if I divide this side by -1, because I did it over here, the negatives cancel out. And I get just 44. So v equals 44. You could check that too, because I put 44 here. 44 divided by 4 is 11, and 12 minus 11 is 1. So you can go up and look for the 44s and put the letter C. There's at least 2. All right, letter L. You've got negatives, so letter L. -6 minus 1/2 n equals 8. Okay, so put our line to the equals. Our variable's here, so we're going to leave that one alone. And we're going to take the opposite of a -6. Opposite of a negative is a positive. If I do it here, I got to do it here. -6 and +6 is 0. That's gone. So I've got a -1/2 n equals 8 and 6. You can break that up like 8 and 2 is 10 plus 4 more would be 14. Now we got this -1/2 we got to get rid of because we want just one n. So we have said that if we take a fraction times its reciprocal, do you remember what the reciprocal is? This word, reciprocal. If we've got -1/2, its reciprocal would be 2 over -1. All right, so, and if we multiply those together, you get -2 over -2, which equals 1. Anything over itself is 1. All right, so there's our little mini lesson within our lesson or review. So I'm going to multiply -1/2 times its reciprocal, or 2 over -1. That now is 1n. But that means I got to multiply this side by 2 over -1. Let's make 14 fraction friendly by putting a 1 under it. So I've got 14 times 2 is 28 over 1 times -1, which is -1. So n equals, well, you know what? 28 over 1 is 28. But we have a positive over a negative. There's no negative up here to cross out. We got to keep it. So n is 28. -28. All right, so you can go up here. That's going to be the letter L. -28 is L. I think there's only one. Okay, one more. Letter M, the very last problem. -v over 9 plus 7 equals 14. All right, here's a variable. I'm going to keep that on the back burner for a minute. Subtract 7. Those are gone. We've got -v over 9 equals 7. This is similar to another one we just did. What do you think? What's the inverse of dividing by 9? Well, we can divide each side by the same number. We've got to do it to both sides. So it's like 9 over 1. So the 9s are gone, but I'm still left with a -v. That equals 63. So here's the little trick. There's only one v here, so we can actually write the 1. And I know if I want 1v, I can take the coefficient. This is the coefficient, divide it by itself, and that will be 1. But if I do this here, I got to do this here. Now 63 over 1 is just 63. But we got a positive over a negative. We're stuck with that negative. So v equals negative 63. Right. So it's kind of fun if you were to check this one. Negative v over 9 plus 7. We want it to be 14. Well, we'd have a negative 63 divided by 9 plus 7. Remember, a negative, that's a positive 63. So over 9 plus 7. And guess what 63 over 9 is? It's 7. So 7 plus 7 does indeed equal 14. It's kind of a cool problem. So v equals negative 63, which means actually m. When we see negative 63 up here, we're going to have an m. And I don't know how many of those are, but I just found a bunch. All right, so take your time doing this. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So that's a bunch of them. Good, see if you can do it. Once you get your system down, you're good to go.